There is a quiet truth that many overlook while chasing fortune. Luck does not arrive as a sudden storm from the sky. It grows slowly, like a seed in still soil, nourished by thoughts, actions, and the unseen rhythm of how one lives each day. Those who seem lucky are often not touched by chance alone, but by a way of being that aligns them with opportunity. Good luck begins in the mind long before it appears in life. When the mind is restless, full of anger, comparison, and doubt, even opportunities standing right in front become invisible. But when the mind becomes steady, clear, and gentle, even small chances begin to shine like lanterns in the dark. A person who trains awareness learns to notice what others rush past. In that awareness, luck begins to take form. One of the quiet laws of fortunate living is this: what you give inwardly returns outwardly in unexpected ways. A harsh word plants tension that echoes back as resistance. A kind action, even if small and unnoticed, creates a ripple that returns in forms you cannot predict. The world is not separate from the energy one carries into it. When intention becomes clean, life begins to respond differently. Many search for luck in distant places, forgetting that the ground beneath their own steps is where it first appears. Every action done with care, how one speaks, how one listens, how one treats even strangers, becomes a thread in the fabric of future outcomes. Nothing is wasted. Even silence, when chosen wisely, can open doors that force could never move. There is also a subtle discipline in letting go. Clinging tightly to outcomes often blocks the very flow one is trying to invite. When desire turns into grasping, the mind becomes narrow, and narrowness cannot hold abundance. But when effort is combined with acceptance, life begins to move with less resistance. This is not passivity. It is intelligent balance, doing what is needed without choking the process. With fear, good fortune often visits those who are patient with unseen growth. A farmer does not demand the seed to become a tree overnight. In the same way, every sincere effort needs time. Those who rush abandon their own blessings midway. Those who endure quietly often find themselves standing exactly where they once hoped to be, without even noticing the moment it happened. Another hidden doorway to good fortune is gratitude. A mind that constantly sees lack becomes blind to gifts already present, but a mind trained to recognize even small blessings becomes magnetic to more. Gratitude is not merely appreciation. It is a form of recognition that reshapes perception, and perception is the lens through which all luck is experienced. Compassion also plays its part. When a heart softens toward others, barriers dissolve. People naturally respond to warmth, even if they do not understand why. Relationships become smoother, conflicts reduce, and unexpected support appears in difficult moments. In this way, compassion is not just moral, it is practical. It aligns one with the natural cooperation of life. There is no need to chase fortune as if it is running away. Instead, one can become the kind of person through whom fortune naturally flows. A calm mind, ethical action, patient effort, and gentle awareness form a foundation that cannot easily collapse. On such ground, even small chances turn into meaningful turning points. In the end, what is called luck is often life responding clearly to clarity. When confusion reduces, life becomes simpler. When simplicity deepens, timing improves. When timing improves, doors open without force. Good luck begins in the mind, not outside life. A calm, aware, and steady mind becomes able to notice opportunities that a restless or negative mind usually misses. Good luck does not begin in the outside world, nor does it arrive suddenly from unknown forces. It begins quietly in the inner condition of a person's mind. The way one thinks, the way one observes life, and the way one responds to daily moments gradually shapes what is experienced as luck. When the mind is restless, constantly moving between worry, anger, and comparison, it becomes like a stormy surface of water. In such a state, even if opportunities appear directly in front, they are difficult to recognize. Everything seems confusing, blocked, or out of reach. But when the mind becomes steady and clear, something subtle changes. The same world begins to look different. Not because the world has changed, but because perception has become sharper and calmer. A calm and aware mind does not create luck in a magical sense. It creates the conditions where opportunities can be seen and used wisely. Many people miss chances not because those chances do not exist, but because their attention is scattered. They are either stuck in memories of the past or anxious about the future. In that distraction, life keeps offering small openings, but they pass unnoticed. A mindful and present awareness brings the ability to see what is already there. In this way, what is called good luck is often simply clear seeing. When inner stability grows, decision-making also becomes more balanced. Instead of reacting quickly out of fear or desire, a person begins to respond thoughtfully. This reduces unnecessary mistakes and increases the chances of choosing the right path at the right time. Over time, this pattern builds what others may describe as fortunate outcomes. But in reality, it is the natural result of a settled mind, making wiser choices consistently. There is also a powerful shift that happens when the mind becomes less noisy. Intuition becomes clearer. Small signals in life that were previously ignored start to make sense. A conversation, an opportunity, or even a delay begins to carry meaning. This sensitivity is not mystical. It is simply the result of reduced mental clutter. When the inner space is clean, understanding becomes sharper, and timing improves naturally. A restless mind often pushes life forcefully, trying to control outcomes, but a calm mind learns the value of timing. It understands that not everything can be forced, and that some things require patience. In that patience, the right moment is not missed. Instead of rushing into the wrong door, one waits until the correct door becomes visible. This patience itself becomes a form of protection against unnecessary loss and confusion. As this inner clarity strengthens, life begins to feel more aligned. The same actions that once felt difficult begin to flow more easily. Relationships improve. Work becomes more focused, and choices feel less chaotic. This is not because external fortune has suddenly changed, but because the internal state is no longer working against life. In this way, what people often call good luck is deeply connected to the condition of the mind. When awareness is clear, when thoughts are calm, and when attention is present, life naturally becomes more open. The foundation of fortunate living is not found in chasing external events, but in training the mind to be steady enough to recognize what life is already offering. Inner intentions shape outer results. What we think, feel, and express internally influences the kind of experiences and responses we attract in life. Another important aspect of attracting good fortune lies in the way one's inner energy interacts with the world. Life is not only shaped by thoughts, but also by the emotional tone that a person carries into each moment. When the heart is filled with tension, resentment, or fear, that inner condition influences how situations unfold. People may not consciously notice it, but they respond to the energy a person brings. In contrast, when the inner state is calm, respectful, and balanced, life begins to respond with less resistance. This is not superstition. It is the natural outcome of human interaction and perception. Every person is constantly sending out signals through words, expressions, and behavior. These signals create impressions in the minds of others, and those impressions eventually return in the form of opportunities or obstacles. A person who carries anger everywhere often finds conflict in return, not because the world is against them, but because their own reactions create friction. On the other hand, a person who carries patience and understanding tends to receive cooperation and support, even in difficult environments. In this way, what is called luck is often shaped by emotional consistency. There is also a deeper layer where intention plays a role. When actions are done with sincerity and without hidden harm, they carry a certain clarity. This clarity tends to create smoother paths ahead. It is not that challenges disappear, but that solutions appear more naturally. When intention is unclear or driven by selfish urgency alone, confusion tends to follow. Situations become more complicated, and progress slows down. Therefore, refining intention becomes an essential part of attracting positive outcomes. Another subtle truth is that emotional stability builds trust, both within oneself and with others. A person who is unpredictable in emotion often struggles to maintain strong connections, but someone who remains steady, even during difficulty, becomes reliable in the eyes of others. This reliability often opens doors that effort alone cannot open. Many opportunities in life come through people, and people naturally prefer to support those who feel grounded and safe to interact with. When emotional awareness deepens, a person also becomes less reactive. Instead of being controlled by every passing feeling, there is space to observe before responding. This space creates wisdom. In that wisdom, mistakes reduce and timing improves. Decisions become less impulsive and more aligned with long-term benefit. Over time, this reduces unnecessary losses and increases stability in life, which can easily be mistaken for good luck. There is also an important transformation that happens when emotional negativity is reduced. The mind becomes lighter and perception becomes more open. Even small positive events feel meaningful, and this sense of meaning attracts further positivity. When life is constantly seen through frustration, even good moments lose their value. But when life is seen with openness, even ordinary events can become turning points. In this way, emotional clarity becomes a powerful foundation for fortunate living. It shapes relationships, decisions, and timing in subtle but consistent ways, rather than chasing luck as something external. One begins to understand that inner emotional balance is what quietly aligns life in a more favorable direction. Every action creates future consequences. Even small actions, kindness, speech, and behavior build patterns that return later in unexpected forms. Another important path toward attracting good fortune is the understanding of action and its quiet consequences. Every action, no matter how small, creates a ripple that eventually returns in some form. Life is not random in the way it responds. It is deeply shaped by consistency